Hello, this is Jim Michaels with the Hickory Heights Church of Christ in Lewisburg, Tennessee. I'd like to share with you just a short message from the Bible today. Do you realize that there are several reasons why we don't have instrumental music in our worship services today? You know, it's not because we can't afford a piano or an organ. It's not that. And it's not because that we don't have someone that could play it, because we most likely could. We obviously could buy one, and we could most likely get someone that they could play it. And really, it's not because we don't like that type of music, because most of us enjoy instrumental music. And really, it's not because we're simply trying to be difficult and trying to be hard to get along with, that we're stubborn and bullheaded in some ways and that we just refuse to do it. It's not that at all. But really what's involved in this, and the reason that we don't have instrumental music in worship service, and that is that we don't find Bible authority for having such. Peter, for instance, said in 1 Peter 4 and verses 11, he said, "If any man speak, let him speak as the oracles of God." So I have to make sure that I speak as God speaks, and I have to find Bible authority for all that I do and say and practice in matters of religion. Paul in Galatians 1, verses 6 through 9, you remember he said, "Though we are an angel from heaven preach any other gospel unto you than that which we have preached unto you, let him be accursed," or let him be condemned. And so I have to find Bible authority for it. I have to have book, chapter, and verse for that. Now, let me ask you this question. Can you read of a church during New Testament times that had instrumental music in their worship service? Well, the answer to that is no. Can you read a passage of Scripture that commands you to have instrumental music in worship service? For instance, now, he commands us and tells us that we assemble together on the first day of the week. He tells us to lay by and store. He tells us to partake of the Lord's Supper. We can find that they did indeed sing, but we don't find where he commands us to play instruments of music. Once again, the Scriptures are silent. Could you find a verse that would necessarily imply that you were to have instruments of music in worship service? And once again, the answer to that is no. You know, there are a couple of verses that we can look at. In Ephesians 5 and verses 19, he says, "Speaking to one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual song, singing and making melody in your hearts to the Lord." Colossians 3:16, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another in psalms and hymns and spiritual song, singing with grace in your hearts to the Lord." If I just sing, then I know I'm doing what the Lord would have me to do. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you'll give that some serious consideration. Have a great day.